Conversation about film in Kenya. So now we saw a lot of spike in the filming industry with the advent of COVID-19. Sadly, we do not have copyright laws or policies to protect artists' work. What is the government doing to ensure that we see Kenyan content, Kenyan clips, animations being patented and being given copyright so that they do not lose the royalties that are gained from their hard-earned money and artwork?
First of all, I pass my condolences to the family of the former minister, Joe. Going back to your question, I wish to correct that we actually have sufficient laws on copyright and intellectual property. Kenya Copyright Board is in place to protect the rights of creators and also to just ensure that intellectual property rights are safeguarded in the right way. Of course, that's why all artists are required to register their works with the Kenya Copyright Board at any given time. The Commission, working with the Kenya Copyright Board as well as World Intellectual Property Organization, we sensitize artists so that they are able to have what we call self-awareness on why copyright and intellectual property rights is so critical to their business. You know, as a creative, you need to understand your copyright or your IP, because that is where you create wealth from. This is an area that we believe with the measures that have been put in place, artists are aimed at reaping big as long as we all observe the rights of others. This also goes to address the issue of piracy. Remember, piracy has been a menace and still remains, but through technology, artists have an opportunity to protect their works without having to worry about pirates. Of course, the most important fact here is to encourage creatives to focus on a formal way of doing business. If you have a film to be produced, your story has to be safeguarded. When you have a complete package of product that you wish to sell and you know exactly to which market you have to sell this product, you need to engage the copyright-related agencies for your rights to be safeguarded, because your intellectual property is your wealth, and that's what I can be able to say. For government, government just provides an enabling environment, and that's why all these agencies, Kenya Film Commission, Copyright Board, among others, they've been established to facilitate the industry. But when it comes to the actual doing of creative business, it's the practitioners and the business people in the industry to undertake this. But we still emphasize that IP is so critical.
Fair enough. Thank you so much for being so candid. We have seen a spike in, the digital. Young people are embracing the digital platform much more. So could you talk to us a bit in terms of the proposed digital tax and how our film environment, we've seen young people taking up things like vlogging. News today is being rendered from the digital platform. From the phone, you can be able to, break news and do a lot of things. But then there is an animal called the digital tax. Could you please walk us through that and how that is going to impact job creation just shortly before we come to the end of the conversation, sir?
Well, I wouldn't call it an animal for one reason. Countries and governments normally collect tax for purposes of supporting respective sectors to grow. The creative economy is one of those sectors that need more support. And as we talk about digital tax, first of all, let us look at what are the opportunities available for the screen sector or entertainment sector to really create opportunities for taxation and also wealth creation. Talk about gaming, software development. You've seen quite a number of products coming out of technology. For example, the digital platforms that provide an avenue for content consumption. Today, anyone from whichever corner you are, you are able to reach your targeted audience without any restrictions.
Sure.
And when we talk about taxes, I don't think it's a bad thing. From where I sit, the government will be able to get more money that can be plowed back into helping the industry to grow. We are championing more products to come out. I've mentioned gaming, which is an area that, if well ventured, we are able to create so many jobs in this country. Animation being another area, and also just the general filmmaking. You mentioned vlogging. Many young, innovative creatives are making the livelihood out of various channels like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and others, or Instagram. So ours at the Commission is to encourage the public and the general film business practitioners not to focus on the issue of tax, focus on the creation and also the business elements of your products.
Allow me to interject.
Yes.
Is the timing right? Is it the right time to actually bring in digital taxation when it's an economy that's just rising, it is just sprouting? Is it really the right time?
I think what we need to be discussing is what is the government doing to ensure that the creative sector is mainstreamed, and also that we have everything put in place in order to have very straight revenue streams that are coming into government and in the pockets of Kenyans. Remember, the government want to create jobs. Jobs will be created if the environment is right, and that's why the Minister of ICT this week has published the draft film policy and bill, which is aimed at putting the legal and operational framework for the sector in an organized manner.
Fair enough. Fair enough, sir. So in just 1 minute, could you give us some of the opportunities post-pandemic that young people can tap into the film industry, the most marketable opportunities that young people can tap into in the film industry as we come to a close?
First of all, let me rally all Kenyans to watch KTN tomorrow at 7:30 to 9, when we bring you Kalasha International Film and TV Awards, which will be aired by KTN Home. Two, there are so many opportunities in this sector. For the young people, remember, you can be able to tell your story the very best way you can, using technology, your mobile phone, and also the facilities available. Kenya Film Commission has brought you the empowerment program, where you can be able to get support to produce your content. And as an economic recovery strategy, we do believe the more production we undertake in the market, the more jobs we create and other opportunities. We also continue to provide young people opportunities at counties. County governments are now embracing film, and our rallying call, just as you mentioned about the LEM film, which is going to be premiered this evening.
Sure.
I do believe that these are opportunities that have not been taken up, and not only targeting the young people, but even investors. Take up this challenge. Let us have studios. Let us tell our stories that are untold, and as a result, we'll be able to provide our country with opportunities for job creation, branding our key locations, culture, and all this. We'll also be able to attract tourists into our country. We will provide psychosocial support, especially during this pandemic, and also open up the country to interlink with other partners through co-productions. And of course, we can't forget distribution, use of mobile and internet-related gadgets for content distribution, which ultimately will lead to food on the table or money in the pocket.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We have been speaking to Mr. Timothy Owase, who is the CEO of the Kenya Film Commission. He has been speaking to us about the whole film industry in Kenya. And right now, that's where we put that conversation to rest. And we